everybody. Today I'm going to review the Precision Torque sockets made by Mac. Now what I have is a 14-piece metric set, which is going to be in 3/8" drive deep wells, and it does come with this nice aluminum rail as well as all the sockets pre-installed. So what really makes these special is the fact that they do have a unique design inside that will allow them to remove damaged fasteners, and they claim that they can remove bolts or nuts that are actually up to 85% rounded off. So what we're going to do in this video is take a closer look at these. We're going to see some inside views of them, and then we're going to see if it's actually going to remove a damaged fastener or if that's just a bunch of marketing hype. Now right out of the box, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get the entire socket set pre-installed on this aluminum rail, and the pegs on here actually do spin all the way around. So if we just take one of the sockets, you can see the peg is going to spin internally. So it's not going to be any guesswork when it comes time to put it on there, because if your socket is not lined up with the rest of them, you can just simply turn it until everything lines back up in place. Now the size markings are laser etched into the top of all the sockets, and they are perfectly aligned with the Mac symbol on the bottom. So it looks very nice and clean, and it is a very uniform look throughout. Now inside is going to be the broaching that does have that unique design where the teeth are actually embedded in the side of the wall of the socket itself. So that's what's actually going to grip in, much like a right grip wrench or a flank drive plus wrench, in order to remove those damaged fasteners. And you can see that the broach depth is very consistent throughout all the sockets, and there's no extra material left over from the manufacturing process. Now to just compare the Mac Precision Torque socket to a Snap-on of the exact same size, both of these are 13mm, and you can see the inside of the Snap-on is going to be completely flat, where the inside walls of the Precision Torque socket are going to have small little teeth, and those are what are actually going to give it the ability to remove those damaged fasteners. So just judging between the two, they are very similar, especially when you consider the size being exactly the same. But the fact that the Precision Torque is going to have those teeth, it will help you remove damaged fasteners when you get into a bind. Now, just to compare that to, let's say, the right grip wrench that I also did a video on, you can see the small teeth that are embedded in the side of it. That actually allowed this to grip onto a grade 8 bolt and was able to shear the bolt head off when I put it in the vise. Now, in the second video, I also used the Snap-on Flank Drive Plus wrench, and you can see the teeth that are embedded in that wrench. So those are what make these wrenches special, that allow them to grip in and remove damaged fasteners, and it's the exact same type of design that's on the inside of the Precision Torque socket. Now to test the ability of the Precision Torque socket with removing damaged fasteners, I have a brand new 1/2" bolt right here, as well as a coupler that I'm going to thread it down into inside the vise. Now in order to make this extremely tight, rather than use a torque wrench, what I'm actually going to be using is a Milwaukee M18 Fuel 3/8" drive model 2654 impact wrench on speed setting 3, which is going to be 200 foot-pounds of torque. I'm going to go ahead and just crank down on this so it'll be extremely tight. Then I'm going to take this pair of pliers, round off all the corners on the bolt, and then we're going to see if the Precision Torque socket will remove it. Okay, that's real tight. I'm going to now take the large pair of pliers. I'm going to round the bolt off. And after I get all the corners rounded off, we'll go ahead and pop that Precision Torque socket on there and see if it'll still be able to remove this. Now this is a fairly large bolt, and the socket that I'm going to be using is a 19mm socket, which is the largest size that most people are going to run into as far as 3/8" drive goes. So they do make larger sockets than that, just most socket sets do not include them. So just rounding this off. Yeah, it's nice and rounded. You can see all the material that is actually flaking off of the bolt head. So that is coming off of the bolt, not the pliers. And just to make sure we have it, I'll go around it one more time to make sure it is nice and damaged. And now, using the Mac Precision Torque socket, 19mm, we'll go ahead and see how those teeth are actually going to engage and if they will remove this damaged fastener. So popping it on there, let's see. We'll now see if it's going to break this free. Broke it right free. And just threading this out by hand, we'll see what it looks like in the end of the socket. So there you go. That's a real good example of how those teeth are going to grip in and not let loose. So you can see how the bolt was damaged. It actually turned inside the socket. But when it hit those teeth, it actually locked in and was still able to remove it. So now you've seen Mac's Precision Torque socket set for yourself. So the design that they do have built in here actually does work, and we were able to remove that heavily damaged fastener with really no problems at all. Now those teeth are very similar to the right grip wrench or the Snap-on Flank Drive Plus wrench as far as the design goes. And with these, I was actually able to shear off the bolt head on some grade 8 bolts in that same exact vise. So I think the new designs with these new tools really are working, and these do carry a lifetime warranty through Mac against manufacturer defects. So if you ever do have a problem with them, and it's not an abuse situation, they will replace them for you free of charge. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.